Join. Welcome, Olivia. One thing I always ask, and I'll say this throughout the meetings, I love speaking to people. So I love seeing Leah, I can see you, and I can see you, Ray. So Olivia and someone else who just joined. If you were in a place you can share your camera, it's very helpful to me. And I think to the group too. I think it's nice to be able to talk to each other. So your goal right now, Ray, is it to bring like in-house sales to your team?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So do you, I know you said you come from the electrician's background, but do you or anyone on your team have like solar sales experience?
I've been talking to a couple of people. I have one guy that wants to come in. He's worked for another company 2, 3 years, and like everybody, they claim they could sell 1 million systems. And I used to run a alarm company, so I've been there, done that. Where you hire guys, and
Yeah.
everybody talks the talk. It's just hard to find somebody who walks the walk. So
Mhm.
that's pretty much where we're at. And you're not in California. What's the state you in?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Okay. So what happened in California, I'm not sure if you know what happened with the NEMA 3 and NEMA 2.
Yeah, yeah. I've worked with a lot of people in California
Okay.
last
Yeah.
year. So
So the NEMA 3 pretty much has slowed down a lot of different people. A lot of guys are going out of business because um, they're just not there financially, or they overextended themselves. Most guys do once they get a little capital. And so we're
do
in a
you
nice
guys
niche.
do you have access to your own finance? So Leah, uh, I want you to, Leah's my works with us. Can you send out when we send it out, let's send out the 6 business models video to Ray. So one of the first things and hurdles to overcome when doing your own sales is access to, let's say, 2 things. One is your own financing, and two is going to be um, having your own sort of like uh, uh, solar proposal portals. So like you can provide accurate designs and information to your customers and cash flow analysis. Do you have any financing right now you have access to?
I just got approved an hour ago from Mosaic.
Oh, Mosaic is one of the biggest lenders, so that's great.
So they
Are
actually,
they
yeah,
are they giving you an M1 or how's that?
that I don't know. They're going to onboard us next week. I just had the interview with their guy today, and he's asking me the questions, and he goes, "Okay, you're good to go for full on, whatever the heck that means." And so they're going to do the onboarding next week and train us next week.
All
And
right. I
so,
would say I would suggest having 2 to 3 finance options, and here's the reason why. Mosaic's their credit terms are a little bit stricter than some of the other companies. So I'll send you a link to for GoodLeap.
okay,
Join them. GoodLeap has a little bit lower credit scores, and GoodLeap, unlike Mosaic, has a soft credit check, unless Mosaic has recently changed it. So customers like that. So when you do the pre-approval process, it won't touch their credit. Where Mosaic historically is a hard credit check.
so it
Uh,
is hard. Okay,
yeah, well, again, unless they change it, because one of
okay,
the things with these companies, that things change all the time. So,
right.
uh, and the other thing I would suggest is potentially getting access to a lease, particularly in California, where you have really high electric rates, um, and where you're an NEM 3.0, you where you have NEM 3.0, you probably going to pair everything with batteries.
Right.
Yeah. Are
Okay.
you using a solar proposal tool right now?
We use Aurora. And
Okay.
so we got Aurora. We've been using Aurora probably for about over a year now, a year and a half. So we're
Okay.
fairly familiar with it.
Aurora has something built into it called sales mode.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so if you're familiar with that, that's what you give your. So sometimes people just use Aurora for like lidar analysis and confirming
Right,
designs. Sales mode is more of a customer facing side of it. So
right.
yeah, so you want to have that turned on, and that's going to allow your sales reps to each have their own account. You'd have a master kind of log in to view everything as well.
Yeah, we haven't got into that yet, but so basically what happened with us is we set everything up with probably about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, before COVID. We set up a little office, meeting rooms, all that good stuff, and COVID hit. So then, we scratched all the sales. So we were going to hire a bunch of sales guys. Then luckily, we had been working with this one company. We landed like $1 million electrical job that we had been working on for a couple of years, and came in just at the right time. So that carried us over. And then when that dried up, I had a friend approach me, and he says, "Hey, I got somebody who wants us to do a bunch of installs for him, but I don't have the license and I don't have insurance. You have all that. What can we do?" So we kind of partnered up. We were doing an average about 2 installs a day for this company.
You're doing that with 2 crews or 1 crew?
2 crews. We have two
Okay,
crews.
I was gonna say, if you're doing it 1 crew,
Oh, yeah.
you guys are like Superman out there.
So yeah, we're doing about 2 installs a day. And the thing that was kind of a blessing in disguise for me is we never really knew what it was like to pull permits, to chase permits around at cities, what the cities, require.
Solar permits, not just electrical. Yeah, it's a totally different animal.
Solar's complete ballgame. Every city is different. We've learned which cities to stay. Well, for us, we were getting paid by this company. I don't know if you ever heard of them, Proterra. They're out of Kansas, and they're getting work for Power. Yeah, GoTerra. So Power would sub it to them, and then they would sub it to us. I'm not sure why, but I guess they're getting a cut that way. And they're not only in California; they're throughout the rest of the country. I'm not sure how many other states.
If you don't mind me asking, and I don't think it's too private, but like, what are you planning or charging on your install side if you're doing like EPC work for other companies?
What do we charge for
For a
install?
lot. Yeah,
Oh,
just
for
the
what? We are getting an average of 60 cents with these guys for a while.
I would tell you this. So we can come back to you, but I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about my background. I also want to open up for other people. I've been in the industry 13 years.
Wow.
And if you guys who don't know me, my name's Brad Stoller. I also go online as Solar Coach Brad. I ran my own solar sales and installation company for over a decade, which I sold a little bit less than 2 years ago. And I've sort of seen everything in the industry from multiple sides, not just as a sales org side, but also as an installer side, and working with, from the smallest to the biggest, some companies in the world. Like I worked with Sun Edison when they were the largest solar company in the world. Texas, the Houston, Texas Stadium, NRG Stadium. NRG was one of my clients I used to install for in Massachusetts. So, with that said, I'll say this for you, Ray. 80 cents should be your bottom. That's it. You want to stay profitable. You're in a state, California, where you do have licensing. So in Kansas and in some other states, those guys are hopping on roofs with like, glue guns and whatever they're using. They don't require licensing. They don't have 1-to-1 net metering in some of these states. I'm sorry, 1-to-1 ratio for electricians. So California, you're correct me if I'm wrong. You're required to have is it 1 or 2 licensed guys per install? Is that right?
Yeah, you're supposed to have a licensed guy there on site. And then the biggest obstacle here in California, talking to the people, is you have to carry a C10 electrical contractor's license. Right. Because once we start touching the meters and upgrading, that's a whole nother ballgame. Right. So California has 2 licenses. One is the C46, which allows you to install solar and solar only. And that's where you stop. And then you need the C10 to touch any of the panels, upgrade anything. And so we have the C10, which allows us to do both.
So that's why my recommendation for you, I mean, you may be in that contract. So for one, between us, and I know this is recorded. Okay. Actually, I don't want to say this because we post these. I can send you a DM letter later about what I was going to say. You can.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I
I want to give some other people.
Yeah,
Go on.
signed to not compete with them, so.
Yeah. So, Olivia, or who's the other person? We have SG something solar. Do you guys have any questions? I see you now, but it's not, there's no audio.
Hey, Brad.
Hey.
Yeah, got the notification to join the call. Your sessions have always been insightful and helpful. So
Good.
jumped on.
Welcome back. What was your name again? Sorry, it doesn't.
My name is Saurav
Saurav.
Gupta. SG are the initials of my name.
Okay, great. Welcome, Saurav. Do you have any questions or anything you want to talk about today?
No, the modus of operandi of our operations is very, very different from anybody else. I come with a background of more than 23 years of telesales experience. Majorly have worked in various verticals, got into solar about 4 years back. And what we are trying to build is an offshore location thing. I have a small dealership incorporated in the US, but our entire manpower is none of our team members are based in the US.
Okay.
So
I actually have one guy I work with who's ultra successful, and he's not in the US at all, too. Actually, I have two people I've worked with that are not in the US. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are trying to build a team. We have people from various, like 7 different countries: Nicaragua, Mexico, Philippines, India, Pakistan, and that is how we operate. The cost of operations is very, very low. So typically, if a dealer makes $10,000 on a sale, they pay out about 7,000-8,000, and they make about 2,000 to 3,000 on a deal. It's actually the opposite in our case. Our cost total, including marketing, payroll, everything, is about close to 20-25%, with the profit margin being very high. So, and this is something that we have been trying to build with a lot of struggle. But yeah, that's what we want to do. We currently have about 15 people in our team. We do about 25 to 40 deals a month. And
okay, so what are your struggles? What's keeping you from scaling further?
Too much delay in installs.
Where exactly are you selling now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So when we started, we were trying to be, because we are virtual, we can target any location. We are a dealer with Titan and Power.
Well, okay.
And the install times have been horrible in a couple of places. So we were generating leads wherever we can sell, not knowing that install times in Illinois can be more than 6 months. Last week we completed an install in Colorado, which the contract was signed in October last year, and that was with Power. So yeah, those have been, cash flow has been the major challenge, because
are you getting M1s from either one of those, or?
Yeah, both of them.
M1s, for anybody who doesn't know, is typically in solar we call M1 and M2. M1's your first payment, M2 is your second payment.
Yeah.
So typically M1 happens after it's sold. You do a site survey, you confirm the design, and then that would trigger an M1 payment, and M2 typically happens after the install is complete.
Yeah. So no problem with payment, or we are getting M1s from both. And yeah, It's just that
So
the
cash flow is
challenge
your
has
biggest
been,
issue. Yeah,
yeah, because
Yeah.
when people come in, these are people coming with telesales experience, but no solar experience. So training and getting them up to, all these are full-time people. They work 9 hours a day with a 1.5 hour break, 1 hour for lunch, 2 breaks of 15 minutes, typical work culture, office culture kind of thing. 5 days a week, more if required, if they have appointments and something to get to. So yeah, it takes too much time, and then like the install gets delayed, and all these people are not on commission. They are on a base pay plus commission. So yeah, the base pay accounts to, like, we should be installing much more at a faster rate. So what recently we have changed is that we have changed our focus to concentrate on only the state of Texas, and
okay.
that
Who are you working with there?
we recently, because we had an option to work with Power and Titan, but we were looking for somebody local. So we recently signed up with Texas Solar.
Oh, it's funny. That
Yeah.
would have been who I recommended. Who
Yeah.
was your main contact there?
Wade
Wade. Okay, I'm trying to think. It's not the
Wade
guy.
Turner.
Yeah, I know some guys there. Anyways, they're a good company. You'll be in good hands. What territory are you in?
No, not territory. We are virtual, so we can market anywhere. Mostly what we do is call aged
I-
leads.
I would, if you can, try to target Dallas, Fort Worth for what you're doing. It's a pretty large area, really high population, and Texas Solar has really quick installs in that territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Houston, some of those other areas are good too, but you'll have quicker installs, particularly where you're in a cash flow crunch right now. I would suggest
Mhm.
targeting Dallas, Fort Worth, and all those surrounding counties if you can.
Mhm.
And I think you're in good hands with those guys over there. They're on, I think, the Interflow platform, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're-
Interflow is another, it's very quick. And all I would say with you and your reps is really enforce that they do what's called a clean packet. And this is also something, Ray, I'd really emphasize for your guys as well. What a clean packet is from a cash flow point of view. The biggest mistake I'm seeing solar reps and their companies making is they don't enforce this clean packet, which is you need to make sure 100% of what is needed for that sale is submitted when they submit that project. So it's not just, so Texas Solar, I think they're Good Leap as well. That's their main finance, but maybe they're Mosaic. I don't remember. But
Mosaic.
okay. So it's not just the Mosaic agreement, solar agreement. You want to make sure they're submitting that electric bill, and anything else that Texas Solar is going to require. If they can have any documentation for the install or permitting that they can, sign in advance. That's something too, actually, for Ray. It's something I did for 10 years and I never had an issue with it. Not once, and all my clients do this, which is in your closing docs, especially Ray, where you're going to have the power to do this. If you have a permit, like, include that permit, and the customers will be like, wait, am I signing a blank permit? I'll be like, yes, absolutely. You're signing a blank permit because this is going to be, we're going to fill in the details, like you're like the system size and what, how many panels, all that stuff later. But this is so we don't have to come back to you later and signing those docs. Because guess what that causes? Every time you have to go back to a customer for anything, I promise and guarantee you it will cause delays. You don't want to have any delays. Cash flow, like what you're talking about, SG, is prevalent within the solar industry. So anything you can do to speed up your cash flow. So just really work with the Texas Solar guys. They're one of the few companies that I know haven't really dialed in. So make sure you understand their processes and you follow exactly their process for what's needed for the sale. And that's how you get panels on the roof quickly. I know in the Houston, Fort Worth, Texas area, I think they're like 2 or 3 weeks on an install. So I know that's like where you're seeing 6 months in other territories. This will probably be a really big game change for you. So I think you're going to have a lot of success there.
Great, yeah. But what's the so there is a contradictory thing. You understand that we sell virtually. Most of our people sound like aliens. They don't have the Native American accent, right?
Right.
So what we have experienced that when we try to target a market which is super crowded in terms of saturated, a lot of like any solar company willing to sell in Texas will target the Dallas, Fort Worth, the Twin Cities because of several factors. The houses are bigger,
Right.
Electricity prices are insane. A lot of people are going solar, so that also plays a part in having a positive thought process of the homeowners in general.
Right. Yep.
When everybody is targeting that area, you have a lot of competition. Like we never did California. Maybe I did California for the first 6 months and never did that because any person that we talk to will have 5 quotes. So
Right.
you either end up losing a deal, or if you win a deal, you're not making enough money.
Yep.
So that is what we think when we are choosing the territory to go after. So we think that going after places where it's less crowded, we'll not get a lot of competition. But nobody can beat our deal because we can sell a deal at 50 cents on a watt and still be profitable. That is the cost of operations that we have.
Yeah.
Other people will not be able to do that. If I have a red line in Texas, I can sell a deal at 250 and still make money just for the sake of not losing the deal. Other reps will have their red line set at 250, 260, so they can never beat our deal. But we still see the competition beating our deal because of something which was not legit, something which was the homeowners were lied about, and
Right.
which happens all day. and
I think-
that's the thing,
I
giving
think-
them lesser number of panels, or lying about the offset, or the tax credit. We don't sell deals like that. We have an internal project manager, and they go through everything by the book, that they understand that this tax credit is a credit and you're not getting a check in the bank, and none of that is happening. So our sales are absolutely clean. And that's why we have in the last 4 years.
But that's a great pitch. What you just said to me is, I think, I mean, if you're not already doing this, and maybe you are, that's a great lead in. It's like, hey, I know you have I sold, and a lot of my clients have sold in saturated markets. A lot of the people I've worked with. I sold in Massachusetts, which has been probably saturated for about 6 years. I never saw a drop in sales. I always saw my sales numbers going up. So you have to find out what differentiates you from the rest of the market, and you need to, as quickly as possible, inform your customers to that. What you just said is, I think for every one of us on this call, was very compelling. Like how you're doing it, and how, hey, we're doing the things a little bit different than you may have heard of before. Already I've created curiosity, right? That's so important. Well, SG, how is it different? We do it different, and then you go right into what you just said. And then at every point during that call, you're emphasizing, why you're different. This is how, they're gonna get the most professional system, the most professional from you guys. So for that. But I do want to come back to it for time's sake. I do want to give a few other people a chance.
Sure.
Olivia, I know you've been on the call for a while. I want to welcome Justin and Alex to the call. Olivia, welcome. You're muted. Okay, Olivia, feel free to jump in a few minutes or when you get a chance. Justin or Alex, welcome. You guys have any questions or topics you
Hey,
want?
Red.
Not as of right
Hey, man,
now.
what's up, bro?
Just wanted to jump on and Wayne. I work with Wayne, so he told me to hop on and check it out.
Okay, sweet. How about you, Alex?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Good, good. Are you in a place where you can share your screen? I always
That's
like to talk to people.
actually right now. No, like I want to use
Sorry, it was break.
something. Let me first of all,
It
my name
broke
is
up for a second. What were you
Alex
saying?
Surfers. I said my name is Alex, and I was working before, like as a appointment server for American account for solar industry for solar panels called Centuity Solar, and
Yeah.
and what else? I forget. Like 2 years I have worked it. Like I was calling the customer, like just appointment server, no sales department. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So you're working for Suntuity Solar as an appointment
Yeah.
setter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your goals? Are you looking to do something different in the industry now, or where are you at?
Yes, that's the job because I can get all those already have like, to get started demos. I know the job for other people like to go for them and to ask them like if they wanna like
Alex, I don't know if you're driving or what's going on, but your reception is like,
if they like the price and if it's good. But I know like how can I get a person like or someone a customer calling them and make him sound a race about solar.
so Alex, I don't know if your phone is breaking up. I can't hear what you're saying. It's like every few words we're losing. So I didn't hear your question.
Might want to come back.
Yeah, Alex, we'll come back to you. I just I couldn't quite hear you. I don't know if you're moving or you're driving or your internet is having some difficulties. So all right. So I want to go back to sort of SG's comment about saturated markets versus unsaturated markets. We've done a lot of analysis on this, and one thing I would say about making that choice. So there are places in the country, lots of well, you're virtual, where the markets are definitely not saturated, but they will be. I just spoke to a guy in Idaho, and he's been selling solar in Idaho for 5 years. He's a client, and what he said was, I've been selling it for 5 years, and now everything's different, to the point where like he's basically he was running a profitable solar business for the last so many years, but now he's at the point where he's basically like really struggling. So the thing is, even if you move to a market, let's say you looked at Idaho and say, well, Idaho's not saturated, let me move there. That was a year ago, but now it is, right? So you could, I know guys who play that game and they're just always trying to find the market that's not saturated. And you can do that. And it's a short-term sort of like, I'm in and out every, 6 months, a year, in and out. And that's possible. But I would say it's as important to learn to realize, like, even in a market where there's a lot of competition, even when they have 4 or 5 quotes, how do you set up and Ray, you're in California, so we all know California is the busiest solar state in the country, right? So how do you survive in a market that is so busy? The way I did it with my company, and what I was saying to USG, is you really have to figure out your company's unique value proposition, and also realize this. You guys all seem like you're pretty I was like honorable, respectful people, and how you want to do that, in the sense it's like you want to deliver great products and do what's best for the customer. So you have to find out what is what is your unique company's value proposition, and really hone in on that. And that should be in all your marketing. It should be in your slogans, your taglines. It should be how you're differentiating yourself when you're on the customer call. So for me, what I used to do is similar to you, Ray, is say, we're not just selling solar, we're actually doing the install too. So you're going to know exactly, you're going to be dealing with us, just one company all the way through. And that was very powerful. Now, we weren't the only company selling and installing, of course, but that also gave us a leg up. Then, we would try to find out other things that made us unique and really emphasize on those things. For us, I would say most companies, they do not have good product knowledge. They really are not experts in the solar industry. So going out of your way to be an expert and make sure your reps are experts, to the point where, like, if someone says, can you tell me the difference between your panel and another? So if someone's going to ask me the difference between, for example, a SunPower panel and a REC Alpha, I'm going to say, well, the SunPower's got a 25-year degradation rate of guaranteed, at 92.5%. The SunPower is also above 90%. And, they should be able to rattle off this information, because that's what you're selling, right? And that's going to go a long way. Now, not everyone's going to be an analytical shopper and want that information, but I've seen one woman, and she crushes it in California. And what she's figured out how to do is she does two things. One, she talks about her background, which she does have good solar experience. And two, she really has the best pitch I've ever heard on explaining why she uses a Hanwha Q-cell panel. It's so good. So by the time you're done, you're like, damn, I want to work with her and get that panel. Now, personally, I don't even think Hanwha Q-cells is the best panel out there. There's other panels I may use over, but if I was her customer, I would definitely buy a Hanwha Q-cell panel from her. So, you have to find out something that's going to differentiate you guys. But Justin's got his hand up.
I got, before you get to that, Brad, sorry, Justin, quick question. Do you, I'm just curious of your take. Do you think, in SG's case, I know he's trying to look for markets that aren't saturated. Do you think that's one of the reasons he's struggling with long install times?
Yeah. So he mentioned Illinois. So Illinois, for people who are from there. And I had looked at Illinois earlier this year. And one of the issues that I saw was, I have access to data, like state by state data on average install times by state, and I put together like an analysis on which states are the quickest. Solo also did another great analysis on this, and Illinois was unpublished, and that scared the crap out of me, to the point like I was like, oh, I can never recommend anybody to sell in Illinois, because I was seeing install timeframes ranging from 2 months to 6 months, and it's like, and they wouldn't even give an average. So you have to be super careful where you're selling. So when you're choosing a territory, to your point, Wayne, and to SG's point, you want to look at a few things. You want to look at how busy is that territory. Obviously, to SG's point, Dallas, Fort Worth, parts of Florida, parts of California, even parts of Massachusetts, New Jersey. There's a few really hot, busy, saturated states. That's one thing you want to look at. Next thing you want to look at is install times. The third thing, you want to look at is, I would say, what's the cost of electricity? So what can you sell for? So in California, where electric costs, in your territory, is it peak at 45 cents now over there, SG? I mean, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 45 cents in California. So now, if you're selling in other states where the electric rate is 14 cents, if you're trying to keep your customers cash flow positive on let's say on their first year, in that case, then maybe in California, you can sell it at 370, for example, where in the state where it's 14 or 15 cents per kilowatt hour versus 45, right? So, 3 times less. Then maybe you can only sell it for $2.60 or $3 a watt. So that's going to affect your profit margin hugely. So one of the things that I do is, like, I really, when I'm talking with the people I work with, is really trying to make sure they're selling in an area that, is sort of a sweet spot or hits those criteria, particularly for virtual sales. It's
Mhm.
really about, targeting those areas. And it's targeting in a way too, where, okay, it's a sweet spot, but it's going to take me 6 years, right? 6 months in having dreadful experiences. And if you can pause this for 1 second too, the recording.
Don't put it on.
On the hook too long. Sorry, Justin. Olivia, if you have a question, I know you're having issues unmuting, you can drop it in the chat here too. Because I know we have a few minutes, and if you have anything, I do want to be able to get to that. Sorry, was there another question? I kind of got off track there because I wanted to get to Justin, but I think we left his hand up too long. So while we're waiting on that, I will say that, when you're trying to choose an EPC, and it's very funny. Oh, Justin, I'm so sorry that we left you on hold for a little bit. What was your question?
Well, no, I was just wanted to make a comment before about what you were saying before with the with business getting stagnant, because I was definitely experiencing that too. I'm in the Florida market.
Mm-hmm.
So this last year was really good, and then this year it really slowed down. So what I did is I found a new solar product and that nobody else has, and it really helped my business pick up because I was the only one that had it in Florida. It was solar panel carports and solar panel pergolas. So
Yep.
it was also a good solution because a lot of insurance companies in Florida are dropping people for rooftop solar or raising the rates. So a lot of my homeowners didn't even want to go solar because of the insurance companies. So this was like a right time, right place solution. And when I'm marketing on Facebook, Instagram, this is a lot more appealing than just posting an ad for rooftop solar. And even if they don't wind up getting a pergola, it leads to a rooftop solar conversation. So if there is a way that people can differentiate their products from just rooftop solar, that was a big help for my business.
Right. I would say I have like 3 or 4 products. Justin, that's such a great feedback because it's so true. Back in 2017, when the state of Mass was it 2016 or 17, they wanted to implement energy storage as part of a standard solar package. And my company, actually, we volunteered with the utility to pilot, what do they call it? Pilot test the product. So we actually did the pilot program for that. And what that did for us was basically it was we were the first company in the entire state to really be offering an integrated solar with energy storage solution. So we became known for that. So it was a huge benefit for us. And there's a lot of, so whether it's a pergola, whether it's, specializing in energy storage, whether it's EV chargers, another great product, which is worth looking into, is doing your solar with either home automation, or the one I was actually thinking of is a
EcoStella.
AC.
Have you looked into EcoStella?
What is it?
EcoStella, it's a new energy efficiency.
Yeah, actually, that was the product I was just trying to remember. So EcoStella is another one. So EcoStella, to SG's point, is basically, so anybody who's got whole home cooling, so central air, it's a very simple product that can be put into any home heating system. So like Ray, where you guys are electricians, this would be very simple for you guys to install. Actually, no, and they will do it themselves, or you can do it. So they have both options in different territories. So they'll do the install for you, or you can get certified and your guys can do it. It's very simple, but
it can be done by customer itself. That is also an option. The customer can do, the homeowner can do it themselves too. It's very simple.
Yeah. And it's got a lot of benefits. So any little thing where it's you can market it as Justin's saying is, hey, we're doing solar, but hey, we're doing, however you want to say it, we're having a solar plus, home heating, home heating or cooling efficiency. So lowering your bills as well as doing solar, like any of these little techniques that you can use to differentiate yourself in the market, really go a long way. I'm trying to think if there's other ones I've used over the years.
I would like to make a comment on EcoStella.
Yeah.
So when we recently started to promote it, and just a second. When we are doing so, how this differentiates is that if somebody has a 20,000 kilowatt hour usage annual, installing one EcoStella is going to reduce their, if done right, will reduce their total consumption by about, on an average, 20%. So now you don't need, for example, you don't need 35 panels, you only need 28 panels, which reduces the cost of the entire project. And that is how you differentiate yourself from the competition.
Yeah, that's such a good point. That's actually, it's one of my favorite products that's out there that you can pair very easily with solar, that provides a lot of, valuable, like, a lot of value to your customers. So I do that. So guys, we got 8 minutes. Any other last minute questions or things? And I'm seeing. Okay.
I got a quick question for you. Back to my original question. I'm looking to build a sales team. What's the best way to go about that?
So you very accurately earlier, Ray, when you were saying, oh, I know it is. Every guy's going to come to you. I'll close millions of dollars a month, right? Everyone can do that, right? That's great. What really is important is hiring, onboarding, and training, and they kind of have a lot of overlap, but you need to have, you need to have a really dialed in program for all three. So for the hiring, you really want to have a professional sort of advertisement, and you may know how to do this now. With talking about your company mission, your core values, a great job description. One thing for sales guys that's very attractive, that sort of like a cross industry sales technique that works for attracting sales guys, is to have a high upside. So say something like 75K to 400K in the job posting, or 75 to like 500K, potential, right? Then the onboarding, again, you want to keep it as professional as possible, in the sense like, they get certain onboarding docs, like a welcome letter or an offer letter, then a welcome letter, and they're going to get the logins to your, in case your Aurora account, to your, do you use a CRM now to like track your sales, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So they'll get the logins to the CRM. What CRM are you using?
I don't know. My sons take care of that.
Okay.
I'm
So they would get a login
guy on the keyboard.
Okay. Yeah. So they would get a logins to all of that. And then the training. And then I would say a proper sales rep, in my opinion, it's about a week onboarding and about 3 solid days of sales training to bring them on board.
Would you recommend that I get a sales manager and let a guy with experience and let him handle it? Because I mean, I could run people, but not really my forte to try to train sales guys.
So I would say, yes, I would, but I would not rely on the sales manager to create the sales program. So I would have a really, really good sales program that has, so when you're training people, you want to do 4 things, right? You want to tell them what you're doing, how to do it. You want to show them how to do it. You want them to do it, and then you want them to practice it, right? So you want a training program that usually has video and documentation on the sales training. You want to have then your sales manager, or you or someone, it could be your son, as long as they're trained how to do this, role plays with them. Like something as simple as, this is how to explain an electric bill to a customer. You would think that's very obvious, but most people don't do it right if they're not trained and they don't practice, right? So, and then have them practice that. And
is there anything out there that's like a guideline that we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I do,
that we
like in my program with the solar blueprint, and I'll talk about that now because we have only 4 minutes left. What I do is, for anybody who is either in the solar industry or looking to grow or scale their solar company, that's what we provide at the Solar Blueprint. So it includes the CRM, which is built out for solar. It has the sales training. So it has onboardings for your, call it your, maybe your verification managers, which is sort of like your lead generators. It has your onboardings for your sales team. So that's going to include all the trainings. As you know, I'll share my screen with you guys to give you an idea of.
Brad, why are you not recommending Ray to partner with other sales organizations?
With other sales organizations?
Yeah,
What do you
he
mean?
needs sales. He gets it from internal sales team or partnering with sales organizations.
Oh, I do
Isn't
recommend that too. Like I do
Yeah.
recommend that's so there's two ways to do it, right? You can be an EPC and have your own in-house sales, or you can do so like for example, SG as a sales team. So like you guys could be
Yeah.
a good fit to work together, right? That could
Absolutely.
be like a great relationship, right?
Okay.
But SG would be like a sales organization who's selling and you're installing for, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is I always recommend every install team to at least have enough sales to keep one crew busy every month.
Right.
That's like, I think, really critical. So like, I'll give you an example real quick. So we have about 3 minutes. So can you guys see my screen right now?
Yeah.
So like, this is a, how do I? So this is the training program, and this has a lot of stuff in it, but I'm trying to get to the sales stuff. So like when I have like a solar consultant, they're going to go through the solar consultant training, and it's going to have everything that they need to learn how to do a sales. It's going to have all the PowerPoints built into it, how to go through. So like right here, you can see this is an entire walkthrough on how to go through an actual solar presentation with the customer. So these are the type of things that when you are working with your, I'm going to stop the screen share. You just want to be able to hand something like this over to them so they can have everything they need in that onboarding. And one of the things that I do in my program is I even have like I have a document which shows this is what you should teach on day 1. This is what you go through on day 2. This is what you go through on day 3. On day 4, they should do a mock presentation, which is recorded and you give tons of feedback. During that time, they should be going out for sales calls. So they're observing at least 1 or 2, and then they go to their own. And so this is all part of our program that you can basically bring on a whole in-house solar sales team, have everything oh, excuse me, it's knocked over my microphone. And that way, following a program like this will keep your sales guys closing at about a 30% to 35% close rate. And I can tell you the industry average is below 20. So you really want to have a solid training that has a consistency of everybody that comes in. Obviously, there are guys out there who can close 40, 50%. There are guys out there who will, maybe never get above 25, but you want your company average about 30. 30% of the deals they meet, they should be closing.
Okay, where do they get the leads from?
Okay, so it is 5, so I got to run right now. But we can chat, like we can DM or do like a one-on-one, set something like that up. And
Okay.
because that's like a whole nother side of like where leads and all that come from. Because there's a lot of different ways. So like obviously SG, who's on the call, his company is sort of like mastered like lead generation methods, right? And that's what he says he's really good at, keeping his costs low. So that's a whole nother thing. So guys, thank you so much. It's 5 o'clock. I do appreciate you guys so much. And I hope this is, like always, very valuable. You guys learned from it. And we do this every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you do have more questions or you're looking to, to be involved in the Solar Blueprint, which has, we taught, that program has how to do the leads. the training for consultants. It has, you know, our black book of sort of EPCs across the country, lead providers, as well as our solar CRM and our community. It's all built into it. You know, we can talk about that as well.
One last question, if you don't mind hooking me and SG together, I'd be happy to do any installs that he could sell in the LA area.
Okay, yeah, we can make that introduction. I believe we have both your contact information. So, and if we don't, just reach out to me directly and I'll hook you guys together.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your Thursday.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.